Hi everyone, this is Kate from Wheels Up Network, and thank you again so much for joining us today. And we have wonderful Shelley from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But before we begin our presentation, I just want to let you know that we have two prizes today. So we have two winners. Each will get a $100 Visa gift card. And for you to get this prize, Shelley will be asking you a question at the end of the webinar, and then whoever answers first will be our lucky winners. And also, if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, there's a chat box in your control panel where you can type out this question, and we will answer it at the end of the webinar. Thank you very much, and welcome, Shelley.
Well, thank you very much, Kate, and welcome everyone to the webinar. I'm not sure if anyone has been to St. Vincent or knows a lot about St. Vincent or are here just to make sure they know about St. Vincent, but welcome everyone. It's an exciting time for St. Vincent and the Grenadines in that we opened our first international airport last year, and last winter we had winter service with Air Canada Rouge, and this year we have just announced year-round service. So it's a fabulous time to be involved with travel and to offer your clients a new destination. So without further ado, welcome again. We have several agents on. I imagine some will be joining us as we go along, but I'm going to start now, as I know it's a busy time for everyone. So firstly, I'm going to show you a movie. It's a very short movie, a little taste of what St. Vincent is all about. So there we are, everyone. A little taste of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for. So just a few fast facts on St. Vincent. The island is rarely called St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and for short, SVG. So very often I refer to it as SVG, just so everyone knows that people say SVG. We speak English and Creole, which is a broken English. Here you see our population, 110,000. We're 150 square miles in total, and that includes the Grenadine Islands. We have 32 islands and keys, 9 of which are inhabited. 5 airports in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 1 on mainland St. Vincent, which is the Argyle International Airport, which opened last year, February. We have 1 on Beckway, we have 1 on Mustique, we have 1 on Canawan, and we have 1 on Union Island. So there are 5 points of entry to the country. And generally, the climate, there are 2 seasons, a dry season and a rainy season. So from December till May, it's the dry season, which is our winter season here, and which is when most clients would tend to travel. The rainy season from June to November is usually the hurricane season. As we all know, that is very unpredictable, and we still do encourage travel because several times there are no hurricanes at all. I guess I should say at this point that St. Vincent is slightly below the hurricane belt, and generally we are saved from the brunt of hurricanes. So last year, we definitely did not get hurricane. We would get some bad weather when the hurricane is passing to the north, but generally the brunt of it does not hit us. Average temperatures, 24 to 30, similar to what we have now, but definitely we won't have that going forward. We use the Eastern Caribbean dollar. which is pegged to the US dollar. And so at any time when you go to St. Vincent and use the US currency, the exchange will be 2.67 Eastern Caribbean dollars to US dollar. The Canadian dollar fluctuates. So from day to day, the rate would change. So we do not give a rate for it because people can't depend on a particular rate. We do accept Canadian dollars in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Currently, the exchange is probably roughly 2 Eastern Caribbean dollars to 1 Canadian dollar. We have a democratically elected government, and if you're from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you are referred to as a Vincentian, or the other slangish way is to say that we're Vincies. So people will refer to us as a Vincies, and so much so that our carnival is called Vincy Mass. So moving right on, not sure why that's blank, we have a few niche markets in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But more than ever, our tagline, the Caribbean you're looking for, refers to the difference that St. Vincent offers to a lot of other islands. It's a little throwback. And with regard to culture, it's very down to earth. Here we have the boat carver in Beckwith, where they make model boats. Lots of architecture. We have old cathedrals that date back several hundred years. The one in the picture here is the Roman Catholic one. And of course, I mentioned Vincy Mass, which is also part of our culture in the islands. Soft adventure is one of our niche markets. As you may know, we have an active volcano, or you may not know, we have lots of mountains, so lots of hiking, soft adventure, as you can see, kite surfing. We have lots of waterfalls where you can, some are very easily accessible, some are not. But we have a very, very diverse landscape. But I will add that it is a very mountainous country. The mainland St. Vincent is very mountainous. And the two end pictures here show you those areas and the lushness of the island. Diving, another one of our niche markets. St. Vincent has been referred to as the critical capital of the Caribbean, because on St. Vincent itself, there are lots of these smaller animals that certain divers crave or certain divers die to see. St. Vincent also is a black sand country mainly, with a little golden sand to the south, and that's on the main island. And so the diving is a little different on St. Vincent than in the Grenadines. So clients can come to St. Vincent and certainly have a diverse diving experience where they can dive on St. Vincent, see lots of critters, head down to the Grenadines and see more of a coral-based kind of diving, sharks, bigger creatures. So that's one of our main niche markets. Sailing is also a very big niche market for us because we do have 32 islands and they are fantastic for sailing. Some people compare it to the BVIs, and we do tell them that it's a little more challenging. While the islands are line of sight, they're a lot further away than in the BVIs, so it's a lot of more open water. Here you see on both ends, we have pictures of the famous Tobago Keys, where in the winter it's sometimes difficult to even find a spot to anchor. But really fantastic sailing. We have regattas, as you see on the middle picture. In Beckwith, we have a regatta every Easter. But certainly St. Vincent is known for its sailing waters. People fly into St. Lucia and neighboring islands just to go sailing through the islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we do have several charter companies that operate out of St. Vincent, so clients can fly on to mainland St. Vincent and pick up a chartered yacht and certainly sail the islands, both with and without captain and crew. If you wish to sail your own boat, you only need to show evidence that you're a competent sailor. Romance, one of our other key markets, niche markets, certainly a fantastic place to get married. And it's particularly because of the small island resorts. You can get married on one, honeymoon on another, leave the in-laws on another, anything works. But a fantastic place to get married on a remote island. You can get married on a yacht. You can get married in one of our botanic gardens. The choice is yours, but certainly a fantastic place where there are no crowds and where honeymooners would definitely find what they're looking for. So as you can see, there are 2 beach weddings here. That's very normal. But people also do get married in churches, etc. The options are open. You only have to be in St. Vincent for 24 hours before you can get married. Further information on that you can get in all our brochures about what information you would need. But just be resident in the country for 24 hours and then you can get married. So where is St. Vincent and the Grenadines? I don't know how many people know that, but here it is. We are located between St. Lucia and Grenada. We are 100 miles west of Barbados. So it's just about half an hour to Barbados, 20 minutes to St. Lucia, another 25 minutes to Grenada. So we form a chain all the way from St. Vincent, and there's the other picture showing you St. Vincent at the top, giving you a good idea of how the islands, the inhabited islands, are set out. And so you can see St. Vincent there and the Grenadine Islands forming a chain all the way down to Grenada. And the last island that belongs to St. Vincent, Petit St. Vincent, is, as you can see, extremely close to Grenada. The waters of Grenada and St. Vincent actually collide at that point. So there's a map of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, giving you a good idea of how the islands are made up. So I'll talk about a little of the inhabited islands so that you can see what's on each island. St. Vincent is the main island. It's 133 square miles, and we know how big that is. Capital is Kingstown and not Kingston like Jamaica, which is often confused. The highest point is the La Soufrière volcano. It's over 4,000 feet. And we have 4 points of entry on St. Vincent, and that's mainly for yachters. Because we have so much sailing, there are different areas where yachts can come in and clear immigration customs. To enter St. Vincent, you do need a valid passport. If you're Canadian, there are a few countries which do require visas, but all that information we can provide to you. As you can see in the picture, St. Vincent is very mountainous. Not much flatland, which is why it took us so long to get our international airport. We actually had to develop some flatland. So very lush, very mountainous, and looking to the north in that picture is where the volcano would be located. So on St. Vincent, I want to mention that we have 3 properties currently that are being offered by Air Canada Vacations. The Blue Lagoon Hotel, which is at a marina, yacht marina, the Grenadine House, and the Grandview Hotel. Currently, those are 3, and I expect very soon that we should have a few more offerings on St. Vincent with Air Canada Vacations. The next closest island to St. Vincent is Young Island. And there's an aerial view of this island. It is privately run and managed right now. So it's entirely a resort. So just 200 yards off of St. Vincent is Young Island. And just a little bit about Young Island. As I mentioned, the distance from St. Vincent, they do have their own private ferry, which carries you back and forth. It's a 5-minute ride. So once any clients are staying here, for any time of day, they can be transported back from the mainland. But I guess once you're there, they may be limited going and coming, but generally it's there for the using. There are 29 beach and hillside cottages, and they're spread out. You'll see the beach ones down there, and some further up on the hill. They do have a tennis court. So there are a few steps, and if you do have clients who can't take steps, please remember to request beachfront, which is on the low-lying area. They do offer a sail away package where you can stay for a few days and then go sailing through the islands for a few days. They offer weddings, and they also offer all-inclusive packages, or you can totally buy out the island and have your own function and have it all to yourself. Some people do it for weddings, for company retreats, that sort of thing. So that's Young Island. It's also offered by Air Canada Vacations. The next closest, or the next going south, is Bequia, and this is a harbor in Bequia. Certainly a very special island, and you see all the yachts there. It's for a reason. Generally, during the winter season, you can hardly find an anchorage in Port Elizabeth, which is the capital, and this is where the picture shows you here. Bequia is only 7 square miles, just over 4,000 inhabitants, 9 miles from St. Vincent. And there's a ferry that runs, or more than one ferry that takes you from St. Vincent to Bequia several times a day, limited on the weekend, but it's an hour by ferry from St. Vincent to Bequia. They also have an airport, and you can fly in from St. Vincent or some of the other islands that have airports. Some people actually fly directly from Barbados, St. Lucia, directly onto Bequia. So access is fairly easy. There are several hotels, and these are smaller hotels, apartments, guest houses, and villas. And several Canadians do spend extended periods in the winter in Bequia, and so they would rent an apartment or a villa, etc. What mainly goes on there is it's a boat building and fishing community, so that's the basis of it apart from tourism. They do have an Easter regatta, which is a really fun time to be on Bequia, as well as their music festival, which happens in January, a very exciting time to be on this island. So the 2 hotels below are offered by Air Canada Vacations, the Bequia Beach Hotel and the Bequia Plantation Hotel, both exquisite properties on opposite sides of the island. Moving on is Mustique, which is sometimes referred to as the island of the rich and famous. In the picture there, you will see that there is an airstrip to the right. Mustique, you may have heard of, where Princess Margaret originally had a house and passed it down. So very often the royals are there. Kate and William spend some of their vacations there with their families. But certainly people like Bryan Adams, Tommy Hilfiger, Mick Jagger, that's the kind of crowd you'll encounter there. It's not an island for everyone because it's mostly villas. As we can see here, there are 84 villas, only 70 are available for rent. The others are just kept by the owners. There are 2 hotels, very small, Cotton House and Firefly, which is just 5 rooms. It's only 2 square miles. 500 Indigenous people live there. They have their own village at the top of the island, and it's 17 miles from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So on the left is one of the smaller villas, and on the right, one of the many fantastic beaches. This one is Macaroni Beach in Mustique. Moving on to Canouan, which has now become known as the island for the billionaires, but definitely not exclusive to them. Canawan, as you can see, you'll see the airport right there. It is currently a jet port, and of course, access by plane and by boat to Canawan is what is usual. It is 3.2 square miles, and it's 29 miles from St. Vincent. As I mentioned, there is a jet port. It's the only island in the Caribbean with a Mandarin Oriental property, which is pictured at bottom left. The only one in the Caribbean, certainly a very exclusive property, not for everyone, but the best of the best. Tamarind Beach Hotel is on the other side of the island, a lot lower in price and I guess more geared to the average customer. Glossy Bay Marina is a very new marina that has been a state-of-the-art marina that has been set up on Canawan, and that's also up and running, and you see that on the right. Canawan is the only island in St. Vincent and the Grenadines with a golf course. There's an 18-hole Jim Fazio golf course, which is absolutely fabulous. The 18th hole is on the top of a hill and has a panoramic view, a 360 view of the entire Grenadines. So really a fantastic and beautiful property. And the reason that there's this one golf course in St. Vincent is because of the mountainous terrain of the main island and most of the other islands. Moving on to Myro, it's, as you can see, extremely small, one little village at the top where you see those houses, but certainly an island that is known for its bay there. On the bottom right, you will see Salt Whistle Bay, which is one of the best anchorages arguably in the Caribbean and certainly in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And attached to Salt Whistle Bay is a small hotel with just 8 rooms. They are planning to do some expansions, and they have been doing some glamping on the beach area there. But that's the only property there. On the left, it's that's one of the villas. They're developing some villas there also. But great for anchoring. A lot of people go there, get married. There's a fantastic church at the top of the hill. Great for just anchoring for day sails. As I said, limited accommodation. And it's certainly one of the smallest islands, but one of the most beautiful islands in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Moving on to the Tobago Keys, which is not an inhabited island, but we do mention it because of its popularity. As you can see there, the colors of the water are 50 shades of turquoise. You can, on any given day, see all different shades in this beautiful part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On the right of the picture, you will see a reef. It's one of the longest reefs in the Caribbean. It separates the islands from the Atlantic. And as you can see or imagine also, it's also fantastic for sailing. So these are some closer shots of the Tobago Keys. They're actually 5 deserted islands, which are surrounded by the Horseshoe Reef. Fantastic for diving, sailing, snorkeling, swimming with the turtles. And you actually see the turtles bobbing up and down and are able to get out and go swim with them. It is a marine park, a national marine park, which is patrolled, and lots of conservation regulations in place there. For those of you who have seen the first Pirates of the Caribbean, one of these islands is where Johnny Depp was marooned and he lit a bonfire, in case you do remember the movie. It was in the Tobago Keys because the original movie was filmed on St. Vincent itself. Moving on to Palm Island, which is another island resort, entirely just an island resort. 2 pictures of the resort here, the beach area and the pool area. It's only 135 acres. It's an all-inclusive property which has been offered by Air Canada for several years with access via Barbados originally, but now we do have access via St. Vincent with the international airport. Truly beautiful property, which is also very popular with Canadians, as I said, offered by Air Canada Vacations. Union Island is one of our southernmost islands. There you can see an island also quite mountainous. They do have an airport, and that is one of the busiest airports in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with people flying into this island to connect on to other islands. It's only 3 square miles, a fairly big community, 3,000 people for the size of the island. Some small hotels and guest houses and apartments. And Union Island has a kite surfing operation, which is getting to be extremely popular in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So they do offer kite surfing here, and they take people over to neighboring Myro that we just looked at to do kite surfing. But certainly a yachter's paradise, and yachties anchor here on a regular basis if they've sailed up from Grenada. This is usually their first point of entry. So the last island, inhabited island, is Petit St. Vincent, which is also an island resort entirely. You see the island there. Individual cottages, 1 and 2 bedroom cottages, which you see on the left. And on the right, anything goes on Petit St. Vincent. You can request just dinner anywhere. And you see here where you can have dinner on the beach. It's brought to you, etc. It's the southernmost Grenadine Islands I mentioned, and it's the furthest from St. Vincent. It's a 30-minute boat ride from Union Island. So generally clients would fly into Union Island to go to Union Island and to Palm Island resorts. Both islands pick you up there. It's a 30-minute ride over from Union, and they have their own small yachts sort of that pick you up and bring you over. There are 2 restaurants, one on the beach and one a little more formal. There's a fantastic spa and a Jean-Michel Cousteau dive center. And I have to add here that Jean-Michel only has 2 dive centers. The other one is in Fiji. So that speaks to the type of diving that you get in our islands. So getting to St. Vincent, I mentioned that Air Canada Rouge has started year-round service this year. It begins on October 25th, and this will go year-round. So it starts October 25th, which is a Thursday, and that goes until December 16th, when we will start twice a week on a Thursday and Sunday throughout the winter until the end of April. Then we go back to once a week for the time being. Alternately, you can travel with Air Canada Rouge from Toronto to Barbados, Trinidad, or St. Lucia, and connect by an inter-island, which would be Liat, SVG Air, or another private charter. So main access is via Air Canada Rouge, direct to St. Vincent. It's about 5 hours point to point. Caribbean Airlines also flies to St. Vincent via Trinidad, and WestJet would also be via Barbados, St. Lucia, and Trinidad. So if you do go into Barbados with WestJet or Air Canada, then you have to connect with Liat or one of the charter companies listed there. And we'll make all this available to everyone so that you can look back, and you can certainly contact us if you need further information. So what's new in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? I mentioned our international airport. There's an aerial view, airside view of the terminal building, and a few shots of inside. One of the best in the Caribbean, we like to say right now. Certainly a very efficient airport. Certainly for those people who are concerned with weather, at any time. We have air bridges in place, so you'll always be pulled up directly to the terminal. There'll be no delays in getting inside the airport because we have air bridges. So that's the first new thing. The other new thing is the Glossy Bay Marina, which, as I mentioned, is in Canouan, a state-of-the-art facility with about 180 berths. It's full restaurant. It has a pool. There are rooms. There's like bakeries and laundries, anything that somebody sailing would require. So that's another new thing in St. Vincent. I just wanted to mention this stay and sail, which Bequia Beach Hotel on Bequia has put on, where you can stay there for a few days and go sailing. And those are some pictures of the yacht there. The other new thing is a new property which is opened on Bequia. It will be opening in November, called the Lyman. Just a few pictures on that, and we should have more information to come soon. But quite a lot of development now that the new international airport has opened. And what to see and do when you visit the 32. And when I say the 32, we refer to our 32 islands and keys, of which only 9 are inhabited. So you can dive into the critter capital of the Caribbean. As I said, diving is one of our key niche markets and a fantastic spot for diving for those clients who are so inclined. It's also anybody who is interested. We do certifications, and most islands, inhabited islands, do offer diving. You can hike our nature trails, of which there are many on St. Vincent and some on some of the islands in the Grenadines. Hike the volcano if you have clients who are really into adventure. That's something to do. Another one of our key markets, soft adventure, or some people call it ecotourism. Certainly St. Vincent, as you can see, we have waterfalls. Some are a little more secluded, harder to get to. Some are a bit of a hike. Some are very easy to get to. But several island tours that you can do throughout the island. You cannot drive right around the island, but you can drive on the windward coast, on the leeward coast, and we have access to the volcano, which is at the top of the island from either side. But very scenic because of the mountainous terrain of the country. Botanic Gardens, we have the oldest one in the Western Hemisphere, where Captain Bligh brought the first breadfruit tree, and there's still a sucker there from the original tree, and that's Captain Bligh of the Mutiny on the Bounty, as you would recall. So he bought the first breadfruit tree to the Botanic Gardens, and there's still a sucker there, and certainly very scenic place for clients to visit. You can also tour our rum factory, which offers one of the strongest rums in the Caribbean, 150 proof. I don't suggest that you try it, but if you do, be ready to have a good rest after. But they offer a variety of rums, and certainly very interesting. You can taste our Vincentian chocolate. And I have to mention, because of the volcano that would have erupted last time in 1979 and previous to that several decades before, and we do have ample warning of this, the land in St. Vincent is very fertile. So you can always be sure that you can get fresh fruits and vegetables and that anything grows. If you stand there too long, you certainly will grow. So our chocolate is made there in St. Vincent from cocoa that is grown in St. Vincent. Other than that, you can charter a boat and sail through our islands or experience one of our unique festivals. There's Vincimas, there's Easter regattas, there are music festivals on Bequia, on Mustique. There are other regattas on some of the islands. There's always something going on in St. Vincent, and we do have lists of all activities that happen every month. So I just wanted to show you some travel agent fun, our last farm trip, just to get you a little excited. This was our last trip down. The top middle picture is a picture on Petit St. Vincent, just showing you one of the secluded beaches that when your clients get there, they don't have to run out and find a spot on the beach to put a towel. There's always, very secluded, very private, lots of space, not an area of mass tourism. So it's that kind of destination. You see in the bottom left, one of our travel agents swimming in the Tobago Keys. And the color of the water there is just extraordinary. In the middle, bottom, they're seated at one of the private residences in Mustique, which has its own theater. And all the villas in Mustique offer different kind of facilities. So if you have clients that are interested in a villa, when you speak to them, ask for what they're looking for. So yeah, this is some travel agent fun in some of the different islands. We were on Canawan, we were on Mustique, we went sailing, we were on Bequia, we were on Young Island, Mustique, Petit St. Vincent, Palm Island. So certainly travel agents have a fun time in our islands. It's not just one island you see, but several. So I'm going to get to the questions now. I hope this was all very informative and that you're all interested in getting down to St. Vincent and seeing our destination. And also, you probably have a client that you think might fit our destination, but certainly we hope we have piqued your interest today. So you can win one of two $100 Visa gift cards. And I'm going to ask two questions, and we would like the answers. So we would like you to write the answers, and whoever gives the first answer correct will win the prize. Okay, do you want to jump in?
Hi, we actually do have one travel agent that answered the first and answered both questions.
When?
So I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Lana? I believe so. She said she answered the first one and the second one. So you are our lucky winner for $100 Visa gift card. And please, travel agents, ask the second question. Name the country's 4 niche markets. And whoever will be our second winner.
Okay, so I hope everybody was paying attention and that they're able to answer the questions. How many inhabited islands are there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? And name 3 of them. And I think we already have a winner there. Somebody was really paying attention. And the other question, name the country's 4 niche markets. So we will definitely be looking at that and see who wins.
Okay, awesome. So we have a second winner.
Oh, great.
I believe it's Michael. I'm very sorry for my pronunciation. We do have 2 winners. Thank you very much. So I will reach out at the end of the webinar and ask for your address so Shelly can mail you your gift card. Thank you very much. And now we do have some questions regarding the webinar. Just a reminder, if you do have any questions throughout the webinar, like right now, please type them in your chat box, and we can see them and answer them right now. So when was the last fam trip, and how are you promoting it? Because one of the travel agents did not see any emails going through, and are you going to have another one?
Okay, yes, we will be offering fam trips more often now that we have the direct flights. That certainly makes it a lot more accessible. One thing about St. Vincent and Grenadines is because we have so many small islands to get to, we tend to keep our fam trips kind of small because we do have to go from island to island, sometimes by small chartered aircraft or by speedboat, that sort of thing. Very often we do, if you are interested, please let us know, because a lot of times, because they're so small, we tend to do it by more personal kind of ways. But if you're interested, please let us know about it. We don't have a date for the next fam yet. but please let us know if you are interested. Because the properties, we don't have big properties, it's difficult carrying large numbers of agents at the same time. So usually somewhere around 8 or so agents we carry at a time. And as I said, because some of the chartered aircraft are small and can only carry a certain amount from island to island, we try to keep it a little smaller and intimate to make your experience really great. Also, if you make bookings at any of the properties in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, let us know, because that's also a plus. We like to know that people are definitely booking and interested in the destination before, we actually just take any agent down. So that's usually a plus. Any other questions, Kate?
Yes. So do the islands have any sort of government legislation in terms of requiring a wheelchair accessibility?
There is no government regulation with regard to wheelchair accessibility. But if you do have clients who are in a wheelchair or in any way incapacitated, you can contact the property that you're going and just make sure that they are wheelchair accessible. Most properties are moving towards that right now, trying to install that sort of thing. But please just contact our office here. We can help you with that. Or if you're interested in a particular property, just ask them and they will let you know about that. But it's not a deterrent at all.
Thank you. Is there any options for self-directed FAMs?
For self-directed FAMs?
Yeah.
I would say just contact us, and generally sometimes people want to go on their own and we can help them get accommodation, special rates at hotels, or for some tours and that sort of thing. So if that's what you mean, we can certainly assist with it. Just contact our office here in Toronto and we will assist. The contact email is svgta.ca@discoversvg.com. And I think at this time I should mention that we do have a travel agent program going on with Travel Week, and you can go and sign up and do it and get a little more information on St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Thank you. Is Zika virus a concern in St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Zika virus?
Yes.
Was that? Oh, currently we have not had any cases of Zika in the past year, but we do have bracelets that we do give out to repel the mosquitoes. But recently, in the past year, we have not had any cases of Zika virus. So we have considered ourselves Zika free for the time being. And most properties would have repellent and that sort of thing. Not that sometimes they still don't get you, because they get me here all the time, but it is Zika free at the moment.
So one of the travel agents asked whether this information now posted with all of the contact info will be sent to them. I can add it to the follow-up email that will be sent out tomorrow. So all of the information that is currently on the slide will be sent to you. And this webinar is recorded, so you can find a recorded copy on wheelsupnetwork.com anytime.
Mm-hmm. And just to let you know also, agents, that we will be at the Air Canada product launch later for those in Toronto. And we have a series of road shows running next week. On the 24th, we'll be in Niagara at the White Oaks Conference and Spa Resort. On the next day, the 25th, we'll be in Oakville, but unfortunately, Oakville is filled right now. We move on to Kingston, Ontario on the 26th, and Ottawa on the 27th, and Montreal on the 28th. And that information Kate will also send out to you.
Absolutely. And one of the travel agents just wants to thank you for the information. And they sailed on a catamaran, 3 couples 2 years ago, and they had a fabulous time.
Oh, great. Yes, and sailing to St. Vincent. A lot of people come to St. Vincent by boat, and that's how they see it and want to come back. And it's certainly a fantastic way to see the destination, and that travel agent, I'm sure, has now attested to that we are one of the more beautiful islands to visit, especially by sailboat. I do also have to mention that there's several cruise ships that are heading to St. Vincent. Last year we had a really, really busy cruise ship season. This year is looking to be busier than last year. So that's also an option for clients to see the destination.
Awesome. I believe we don't have any questions. Congratulations again for the winners. I will contact you after the webinar. And again, I will be sending a follow-up tomorrow with all of the content information and the file with the road trips and the dates. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Shelley, for the amazing presentation.
Yeah, and thank you, everybody, for taking the time to learn more about St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We look forward to welcoming you, welcoming your clients, and being of any service here at the office. Thanks, everyone.